All right. Welcome everybody to today's webinar. And this is our first webinar of 2022. So today we're going to go over what's new with ResNexus and some of the new features we added in 2021 and some of the things we're kind of still working on in 2022. At first here, I'm going to explain a little bit about who I am while people are still joining us. My name is Brad Keach. I'm the training manager here at ResNexus. I've been with ResNexus for just a little over 2 years now. I'm the organizer of ResNexus Academy, and I have about 15 plus years experience in system analytics, training, different various management positions throughout my career. I've managed crews from 80 people down to 2 or 3 people, been with large companies and small both. So that's a little bit about me. This is some of the things we're going to discuss today in today's webinar. Some of these things may be familiar to you already. The Gen6 Booking Engine, obviously that came out last year, but we've added a few things to it. Contactless check-in, custom fields, Airbnb messaging, site optimization, scheduled deposits, Expedia promotions, and the free Google Hotels availability that we have in Direct Connect. So let's start with the Gen6 Booking Engine. This was a major update to ResNexus in 2021. As of today, about 90% of ResNexus subscribers have migrated to the new Gen6 Booking Engine, and that's for good reason. Not only does it offer the same features Gen5 did, but it has many new unique features like the ones we're going to cover today that I have listed here. We've increased the number of pictures allowed on the booking engine. So previously it was 5 with Gen 5 and now it's 25. We now allow rate types, which has been a function in ResNexus for a while in the back office, but it now is available on the booking engine. We now have a package wizard, an availability on pop-up calendar, an availability grid, unit and class landing pages for specific units, and we allow for collecting of vehicle information. So now there's more ways than ever to view different units and view the calendar for different rooms, and we're going to go through some of that stuff here as we go through Gen 6 changes. So here's a few examples that we have of the new booking engine and how it's being used in a few different industries. You can see over here on the left-hand side that we have some sidebars still on the Gen 6 booking engine. It's got nice, big, beautiful pictures. This is a great example of a B&B, another great example of a campground and how a campground might be used. A couple more examples: vacation rental, maybe glamping booking engine. As you can see, you can have it as plain as you'd like it to be, or you can have it as full up as you'd like it to be. This is kind of an example of where a room has been added to a reservation. And the first thing I really want to talk about, and this was actually one of the focuses of our recent academy, is pictures, and why ResNexus decided to increase the number of pictures from 5 to 25. It's actually pretty simple. More pictures equals more reservations. We're all visual shoppers, and we want to see and visualize what the experience is going to be before we commit to purchasing. And that's even more so, post-COVID. And so you can see the Gen 6 booking engine allows you to have multiple pictures, big, beautiful pictures on your booking engine, so you can tell a story about what it would be like to stay at your property. The quality of the pictures, how you have them organized, and what information they provide to the guest is actually very important. This is a great example of some cabins, and this may be a situation where the owner of this property is questioning, well, how am I going to take 25 pictures? What am I going to take 25 pictures of? And it's actually very easy in fact, you could go over 25 fairly easily. You know, there's 4 corners of every room. You could take a picture of the actual environment outside, the front door, as you can see here, you know, the beds on the inside, the kitchenette. There's a lot of different ways you can take pictures to offer a potential guest a quick view of what the experience is going to be like. Here's an example of an RV park. Now, this particular RV park was under construction when they took this picture, but again, that's kind of painting a picture of what this guest is going to expect. You can see that they've added a picture here of a beautiful sunset, some of the other you know, RV sites that are available, the beautiful woods, and another picture of a sunset. They've even added a picture of a cow here at the end that kind of paints that picture of, oh, there's, you know, in this area, there's going to be cows next, you know, nearby. So that kind of paints that picture of where that guest would be going. So now we're going to talk about where you can add pictures and how to add them in ResNexus. For most of you, you probably already know this, but this is the settings page in the ResNexus back office. And I'm going to refer to this several times as we go through this presentation. So if I mention ResNexus settings, this is what I'm talking about, is actually logging into your back office and going to the settings page and then typing in this search bar here at the top. So for pictures, we're going to type units into the search bar, and then we're going to click on units and accommodations. And that's going to take us to a list of all of our rooms here. And to add new pictures to the room, you would click on the one you want to edit and open the page for that particular unit. And here you can see I've highlighted the one at the top here, so we would click on this one, and it will take us into the information page for that particular room or unit. And then you would click on the pictures link on the right-hand side of the screen. And what this will do is take you to the pictures page for that particular unit. So in ResNexus, you would simply click Browse Files to add new images from your computer to the ResNexus back office. And again, you can choose up to 25 images. You want to be kind of careful about the size of the images that you're choosing and how you're selecting them. They will automatically go in order based on how you're selecting to import them in. And you don't want them to be overly large or overly small. As you can see on the booking engine, and I'll actually pull an example over of a booking engine for you guys to see here. As you can see on our sample booking engine here, the pictures don't take up the whole page, right? They're a good size, but it didn't take forever to load that page. And that's why you want to be careful about the sizes. You want to make sure you're putting the right size image into the right size container for that, where it's being displayed on the booking engine. And then you can also see that with our booking engine here, one of the best features of Gen 6 is its scales. So you can see our image here as you're using a smaller and smaller device, it's actually scaling that image down so that you get all the way down to where you're actually viewing it on a mobile device. And this was actually one of the biggest reasons why Gen 6 was developed, was to make it more mobile friendly and so that it could be used and scalable on multiple devices. So I always like to show that off, and you can see that because this particular sample property is using a ResNexus website, their homepage on their website uses the exact same header that the booking engine uses. Now we do have the ability to do a custom header on booking engine, on Gen 6, but there is if you've had one before with Gen 5, we can get you switched over. But if you haven't, then there is a small fee for getting that to match now. So that kind of gives you an example of the images on the booking engine. You can see on the Gen 6 booking engine down here where there's a sidebar. Again, it's got nice big pictures and clear view of what is available. And we're going to come back to some of the other features on this here in a little bit. Once you click browse and you upload your images, the images you would like to upload for your room, you click save at the bottom once they're there, but maybe the way that you uploaded them isn't the way you want them to be displayed on the booking engine. Maybe you want them to be displayed in a specific order. We've added a sort image function up the top here, so you can easily drag and drop images. So you could literally click on this and drag it down into the position you want it to be displayed in the room itself, so that you can display these in the order you want them to be displayed in on the booking engine. And lastly, when it comes to images, don't underestimate the value of having great pictures. We like to say here at ResNexus, and I know David Mayfield says this quite often, pictures are worth 1,000 bookings. Most people will only initially look at your photos and then only spend time reading if that photo draws them in to read something about that particular room or what they're looking at. If you have any questions about how to add pictures or what you should do with pictures, or you need some advice on how you want to organize your pictures, give us a call. Call your red carpet professional. We're happy to walk you through that process and help you out wherever we can. Next, I'd like to talk about rate types. So rate types have actually been available in ResNexus for quite some time, but only in the back office. So they were available to be set up on the grid. They were available to be set up on the calendar, but now we've made them available for the booking engine as well. And the way that they work on the booking engine, let's say you set up a rate type for, and in this case, it's showing a military rate. I've also seen rate types set up to be used for non-refundable rates is a great example, or AAA rate. And what it does is it gives you a nice drop-down image here, so you can click down and the guest can actually choose to use one of your new rate types. And that is a new feature just specifically with Gen 6. You can see here to set up rate types, again, we're going to navigate to settings in the back office, and we're going to type in rate types in that search box, and then click on the rate type setting itself. And once you're in the rate type setting, you'll see a page that looks like this. And here are some great examples of some rate types that were set up for this particular property. You can see they've got an AARP, a military, an Elks of America, but only the military one is available online. And so that's the option that's available. You can have rate types that are only available in the back office or available on both the back office and on the booking engine. To add a new rate type, we're going to click the blue add button in the bottom left of the screen here, and it will bring up an add or edit rate type field. And to begin adding your rate type, you'll enter a name and when you want that rate type to be active. So we usually suggest, from the current day through, a far-flung date in the future. In this case, it's 2030. If you're planning on having that rate be available for a long time, that way you don't have to keep coming back to the rate and updating the date, various times throughout the year. It will just always be active. The next thing you want to set up is what is the guest going to receive when using this rate type. You can set it up to be a percentage off the base rate, a dollar amount off the base rate, or a fixed base rate. And then you'll also want to decide what how this will apply to other types of rates. So examples would be extra guest charges. So if you have your rate set up to include a $25 extra guest charge, is this rate type going to also apply? So will this discount apply to those? And then here's where you can set it as available online. And then you can also decide if yield management will apply, if this will apply to that rate, to a yield management rate. And then if you're using worry-free bookings, if you want to allow this rate type to be used in conjunction with worry-free bookings. So maybe, for example, you're giving a really deep discount and you don't want to offer worry-free bookings with that particular rate type. And then finally, to finish setting up the rate, you will choose what that rate type is going to apply to. In this case, you can select that it simply applies to everything, or it applies to specific classes, or down here at the bottom, you can see that you can apply it to specific rooms individually if you'd like to. And then just in case you didn't know where they're available in the back office, your rate types are available on the grid and calendar using a drop down at the very top left of the screen, and all of the rate types are available in there. And when you select one of these, what it will do is adjust all the rates that are available on your grid by that amount, by the amount you have selected. Again, if you have any questions about how to set up rate types in ResNexus, feel free to contact your red carpet professional. We'll be happy to walk you through getting those set up properly so you can use them how you would like to use them. Next, we're going to talk about the new package wizard. So specials and packages have been available in ResNexus for quite some time, but previously with Gen 5, there really was no guiding hand, you could say, for a guest as they were adding a package to their cart. So what this does is the package wizard, you can see on the Gen 6 Booking Engine, it's much like Gen 5 where they can click on specials and packages and view your specials and packages that you have available. In this case, birthday or anniversary, or a one-night free offer. And in this case, we're going to choose to add the birthday or anniversary. We're going to come stay for an anniversary. And what this does once you click this is it will send you to the package wizard. And this is actually a really neat tool, because what we were finding previously is guests were not really fully understanding necessarily what they needed to do to complete that process once they added a package to the cart. And what this does is it really kind of holds their hand through that process and helps them complete that package. You can see it very clearly says what the package does, gives the description, and then any requirements down at the bottom. And it's prompting the guest here to choose their stay dates. And so they have to stay between December 9th and October 3rd in that date range. And once they select their dates, they can click continue, and it will take them to the next option, which is, hey, now you need to select what room in that date range you would like to stay. So again, the package wizard is walking them through step by step with instructions on how they need to complete that package. And then here you can see that the package has walked them through, and this is what it would look like in the cart with a worry-free booking. And at this time, they can actually choose to use the worry-free booking if they want, enter any gift certificate or other promo code they may have, and then check out like they normally would. And then here's some other great specials and package suggestions. Some that we have found here that other properties are using. And then here's an example of a package that's offering fall lodging, buy one, get one. And so you can see that what the package wizard really allows you to do is you can make a little bit more complicated of a package, and it allows the guest to really follow, be led through how to complete that package. So anytime you're creating a package, you want to make sure you're keeping it as simple as possible. You don't need to add a bunch of requirements to it if you don't have to, just the ones that are necessary to make sure that the package is what you want it to be. And again, if you have any questions about how to set up packages, or some suggestions about some packages you may be able to add in your area, feel free to contact your red carpet professional, and we're always happy to work through that with you and help you out with ideas in that way. So next we're going to talk about the availability on pop-up calendar. And so this feature is actually really similar to the 3-month calendar that was available in Gen 5. So where you can find this is on the booking engine. You can see that there's a click here to check availability underneath the actual listing itself. So if a room is occupied, for example, the guest can click there and they'll be given a large 3-month calendar that will show when that room is available next over the next 3 months. So it's a very useful tool. Maybe they really like that room, they stay there every time they come to your property, or it's something along the lines of that they particularly just, there's something special about that one room that they want to stay in. Maybe they can adjust their dates based on, when the room is available, so they can get the room that they want. There's also a new availability grid link at the bottom of the booking engine, and what this does is it gives a larger view, and you can see it's down here at the bottom. So hey, couldn't find what you're looking for, things are showing occupied. A guest can click this link and it will bring up an overall availability calendar. So what this will do is show all the rooms that are available online and when they're available next. So just in case they have selected some amenity or something that's not showing what rooms are available, they could click that link and it will show them that there are some other rooms that are available. Next, we're going to talk about individual landing pages for units and classes. This is a pretty neat little feature that was added, and it actually allows you to link directly to specific rooms if you would like to. It gives each room its own page. And this is a link that's underneath the description for every room. So you can see there's a more details link here. And when we click that link, it pops open an individual room description for that room. It gives a nice, big, beautiful picture, the availability calendar on the left-hand side, and then gives a lot of good detailed information about that room, and even allows them to select their dates for that room. Again, this is a link. You could actually create a link to this page. So if you were using a marketing email, for example, you could link directly to a specific room in ResNexus. The next thing we're going to talk about here is vehicle selection. And so this was a new feature added towards the end of 2021, I believe. And this is, of course, geared more towards RV parks and campgrounds, but it definitely has uses for other industries that want to track vehicle information. So if you have a parking lot and you want to track what vehicles are being parked there, or you want license plate numbers and that sort of thing, that's what this feature offers. So here's what it would look like on the booking engine. Once a guest has chosen their room and everything, and they've clicked to proceed, and you have this enabled in the back office, they will be prompted to select what type of vehicle they have. And you can see there's a lot of different options here. So they would just click on the one that they want to select. In this case, we selected motorhome, and it prompts them next to enter their license plate number and choose what color that vehicle is. Once they've chosen that information, it will, if selected, it will ask them what the length of their vehicle is. And this can actually be configured to be a requirement if you would like it to be. And then they can click add vehicle at the bottom here. And there can be multiple vehicles added to a reservation. And it also is configurable to be just an option if you want to just make it available but not make it required. To set up vehicles in ResNexus, we would again navigate to settings. And when we're in settings, we're going to search for online bookings, because this is actually a setting that's located in the online bookings section. And once we've clicked on online bookings, we're going to navigate to the vehicles tab. And that's where we're going to configure whether we want to collect information on the booking engine for vehicles. You can also select whether a guest is required to submit vehicle information. If this isn't selected, there's a skip button that is displayed, and they can just skip entering that information. And then you can also require your guests to enter a length for their vehicles. And then as you saw on that previous page, you can select what vehicle types you want to make available for the booking engine. And then of course, once you have selected everything you want, you click save. And let me go through my slides here, get behind, okay. And again, if you have any questions about anything I've gone over here, and you'll hear me say this multiple times throughout the presentation, feel free to contact your ResNexus Red Carpet professional, and we're happy to walk you through how to set any of this stuff up or explain in a little more detail about what it does or how it functions. Next up is contactless check-in. So this is actually one of our newest features, if not the newest feature, and is actually still in active development. I think there's still a few things that they're planning on adding to it. I know that they were, the dev team here was trying to get most of it in before Academy occurred in January. And so some of the stuff I'm going to show you may still be in the works, but if it is, it would definitely be available very shortly. And if not, it already available. So let's take a look at what it does. Again, to enable contactless check-in, you'll navigate to settings and search for contactless check-in in the ResNexus back office. And it will give you a choice to enable contactless check-in. And I can actually show you what this looks like, I believe. Yeah. So that's what it would look like in the back office to search for contactless check-in. And then once you're on that page, it's just going to give you an option to enable contactless check-in and then print a QR code. And what that QR code does, it also gives you the link to the landing page if you want to share that in an email. What that QR code prints is it prints in a page that looks like this and allows guests to scan the QR code, or they can click the link to go to that particular page. And once they're on that landing page, they can look up their reservation number, or they can enter their reservation number and phone number and click submit, and it will pull up their reservation information. Once it pulls up their reservation information, it will look something like this. And you can see it gives them several options. So obviously it's called contactless check-in. We want to be able to allow them to check in. We can allow them to view their reservation details, extend their stay, maybe add retail items, view another reservation. This will take them back to the previous page where they can enter new information. They can also complete and add a payment using this tool as well. Let's say in this particular case, we clicked the reservation details. So we clicked this button right here, and it's going to take us to a page that looks like this. Again, this is all available, over on a mobile device. It's all contactless. And so what it does is it gives them several options. It shows them their reservation details, who they're registered as, what room they're in, when they're scheduled to check in and check out. It gives them the button to check in. They can also add to their stay, add a new guest at this time as well. If they clicked check in at this particular point, it would prompt them to verify that they want to check in. And then once they click yes, check in, it will actually mark them as checked in ResNexus, and it will send the innkeeper a notification that that particular guest has checked in. If they clicked on add a payment instead of the reservation details, you can see here it's going to show what the total payment would look like, whether they want to use the card on file or enter a new one. And then they are allowed to click add payment. If you clicked and added something, you can see it will display a confirmation as well using the app. And it will also prompt them to add retail items if they want. If they were to click to add something to their reservation, let's say they were extending their stay or they were adding some kind of enhancement to their stay, like a couples massage or something, that's what these screens would look like. So you can see it's prompting them to choose new dates, or it's prompting them to add a package or a retail item to their stay. Again, if you have any questions about how this works or how to enable it, it's actually really simple, but we're always happy to help walk you through that stuff. Feel free to contact your red carpet professional and we'll help get that set up for you. And look forward to a few more options at least, I'm sure. If I remember correctly, there was something like 9 options that were going to be available, and I'm sure that they're going to be adding more as the year progresses. Now we're going to talk about the new calendar. And this is actually in beta testing. I'm sure most of you who use ResNexus daily have noticed this already, and it's just called Calendar Beta right now. It's found in the main menu, which is the big black bar on the left-hand side. And this is what it looks like. Now it's in beta, which means that it's still subject to change, and we're still tweaking it a little bit. This is basically, though, what the new calendar will look like. As you can see, we've added a lot of new icons to the bottom here. So the calendar will now have, for example, retail icons that will designate that a reservation has a retail item on it. But you can see it's kind of a hybrid of the grid and the current calendar. It shows a lot of the same things that the grid would show, like highlighted days for weekends and minimum nights and things like that, and potential reservations. And then you can actually see the reservations that are booked here. And if you look closely, you can see that this reservation is blue and has a little computer icon on it. And what that tells us is this one was made on the booking engine and this one was booked in the back office. If you hover over a reservation, it will pop up a little pop-up screen here that will show you the details of that reservation. So don't fret if you were wondering where the additional information was. You can now see that just by simply hovering your mouse over the reservation. And in this case, you can see an example of a reservation that's not yet paid. And then this is an example of a reservation that has been paid and what that looks like. And then I also wanted to give you an example of what a live property that's using the calendar actually looks like. And so you can see what blocks look like and some of the other things. You can see that there's some blocked out rooms on this particular calendar. You can see when a holiday has been selected and is showing on there. You can see that there's different items. So in this case, this one has a birthday on it. If you look really closely, you'll see that we've added the third-party reservation icons as well. So both of these reservations were made through Airbnb, which is a very new feature to the calendar. There's also the retail summary page at the very bottom of the calendar, and this kind of shows an expanded view of all reservations that have retail items sold on them. So if you needed to deliver a particular retail item on a specific day, it will notify you that you needed to deliver that to a specific reservation. And all of these are links that you can click on to view those reservations. And again, we are still in beta on this calendar. So what that means is that we are still in active development of it, but just kind of finalizing. If you do have any feedback, we do love to hear from everyone that has feedback about some things that you might think will make the calendar a little bit better, or some items that maybe you'd like to see. You're always welcome to contact your red carpet professional, and we'd love to take that feedback and see if we can incorporate it somehow. So always feel free to let us know if you have any feedback. All right, so moving on to unit optimization and unit types. This is a new feature that's specifically designed for RV parks and campgrounds, but could be useful in other industries. We're going to walk through how it works specifically. To enable unit optimization, you would navigate to settings in the back office, and then to operations, and that's what you would search for in the settings bar. And on the miscellaneous tab, which is highlighted here, you will see at the very bottom of that tab where you can enable unit optimization. Once you click that box and click save, it will automatically enable that for your property. And you can see here it's giving us a notice that 146 units may be optimized using this feature. Now, this is an automatic process that occurs at 2 a.m. Local time every day. And really what it's designed to do is optimize your availability. And so the algorithm will try to move reservations or gather things together to optimize the open available spaces within your business. So you can see here I've taken a screenshot before unit optimization has occurred, and it's kind of, I'll flip back and forth a couple times so you can kind of see what it looks like. But the most obvious one here is if you look at this online reservation, it actually moved, and you can see it moved the big one down here as well. And what that's doing is you can see that it's kind of spread out amongst 4 or 5 lines at first, and then once the optimization occurs, it's actually only 3 rooms that are, or 3 units that are being booked, and it has opened up all this availability amongst the other units. And that's really what it's designed to do. It will group things together. The algorithm will automatically group them towards locked rooms and other items such as blocks as well that can't be moved. So we'll only move unlocked reservations, and it will try to gather them together to other reservations that cannot be moved or other blocks of that type. It's important to keep in mind, though, that this only works for rooms that are marked right now as RV site types, unit types. And I'm going to show you where you can enable unit types in the back office here in just a second. But it has to be labeled as an RV site in order to be part of the unit optimization. So in the future, we may expand that, but for right now, that's what it's designed to do. It is an automatic process, and once it occurs, it cannot be undone. So if you turn it on and you have it run optimization and you don't like the results, there is no way to revert that back after a specific amount of time. If it's within a few minutes, we might be able to take a look at it, but for the most part, once they're optimized, it's pretty much set in stone. So just keep that in mind. And again, if you have any questions before turning it on, please reach out to us and we'll be happy to explain that to you. So to set up unit types, we're going to navigate again back to settings, and then just like we did with pictures, we're going to navigate to units. So we're going to search for units on the settings page. And then we're going to click on the unit or room that we want to add the unit type to. And if you scroll down the page a little bit, and let me see, maybe I can bring up an example of this for you guys. Let's see here. Let's go back to our sample properties. So if I go to settings here and type in units, and you can see these are all set up as RV sites already. If I click on one of my sites, it's going to take me to one of the units, and I can scroll down here and see the unit type field, and this is where I can configure the unit types. Now, unit types are hard-coded into ResNexus. They are not customizable, and that's for good reason. They're actually designed to be hard-coded in ResNexus, and that's so we can use them for sorting and filtering, and they don't change. So it kind of gives ResNexus the ability to have classes that are built in, for to put it in another way. Every one of these options you choose after RV site, when using unit optimization, will add another layer of complexity to the algorithm that's trying to configure or optimize those units together. So for example, if we have 30 amps checked here, it's going to try to put all 30 amps together and so forth. So the more you have selected in here, the more the optimization will work towards having those same things grouped together. And again, if you have any questions about how that works in ResNexus or how to set that up, feel free to give us a call and we'll be happy to walk you through how to set that up. Next on the list here is scheduled deposits. So we've had deposits for a while in ResNexus. A great example of this would be if you only collect a 50% deposit at the time of booking, when does the rest of the deposit currently get picked up? And that's what scheduled deposits is for. So scheduled deposits allows you to set up automatic payment collection for the remainder of of the stay, so within a specific amount of time before the guest's arrival date. And to set this up, you would navigate to credit card processing, so to settings, and then credit card processing would be the setting you're going to. And then once you're in credit card processing, you'll want to navigate to the options tab. And once you're on the options tab, you can see that the scheduled deposit is available underneath the standard deposit. Let me see if I can pull that up for you. I'm not sure if this sample property has credit card processing enabled, but we'll take a look. So here I've chosen credit card processing from settings. I'm going to my options. And you can see here that I have the initial deposit, which has always been available. So we can collect a specific amount, 100%, 50%, or you can collect a specific dollar amount and then choose what requirements go along with that. And now we have this scheduled deposit function as well. So what this does is it allows you to say, hey, within this specific number of days before the guest's arrival, I would like to collect the remaining balance of that stay. And it's completely customizable to what you would like it to be. And you can also choose whether you want it to send a notification if it fails or if it processes successfully. So really neat feature, new feature in ResNexus that will allow you to save a bunch of time, not going back through your reservations if you want to use it that way. Once you have it all configured, you would obviously want to click save. And again, if you have any additional questions on that, feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to help you with that. Next on the list here is custom fields. So this was a feature that was available in the past, and I believe it was available with Gen 5, but we've kind of revamped it, reinvigorated it, you could say, and brought it back to Gen 6. And this was actually just another recent addition back to the Gen 6 Booking Engine. And it offers you a way to collect information from your guests. So you can collect information using a checkbox, you can collect information using a text box, and it just allows you to add those custom fields back into the back office or during the checkout process for a guest. And it allows you to do a lot of different things, and they're very customizable. There's two different fields that you can add. So there's a guest field and a reservation field, and that determines where they're actually going to prompt them being added. To create a new one, you would navigate to settings and then custom fields. So you would type custom fields into the settings search bar. And once you're on the custom fields page, you'll see a page that looks almost exactly like this. And you would click the add field button to add a custom field. To configure your custom field, you'll add a name to the custom field. You would choose what type of custom field you want, whether you want it to be a checkbox or a notes field, whatever you would like to. There's a couple of different options there. You can choose what you want the abbreviation to be, and if the box is required. And then you can choose where it's being displayed. Now this is, there's two options here. So you can choose that it's going to be displayed in the back office only, or that it's only being displayed on the booking engine. But just keep in mind, if you configure it to only be available on the booking engine, it's not going to appear in the back office. So if you're collecting data on the booking engine, but you're not allowing it to be viewed on the guest pages, then it's counterproductive. So you're gathering the information, but not displaying it. So just make sure you are using both if you want it to display in the back office as well. And then here's an example of what it would look like. So here's a guest notes field. So in this case, we're collecting the driver's license and state. And then here's something that would be the reservation notes field. And again, another example of a checkbox in this case, and the checkbox with the date option as well. And then for the back office, when you look at the master guest profile, you'll see that it will actually display that in the master guest field here. So if it's a guest specific one, it would display in the back office to be entered. And then again, the reservation one. And then here are the examples of the check boxes of both of those same examples. And again, if you have any questions about this, always feel free to give us a call, and we're happy to help you with that. A couple things to keep in mind when it comes to custom fields. They're customizable, and you may opt to mix and match however you wish to meet your needs. Always double check your spelling. Remember these, if you're displaying it on the booking engine, that's what your guest is going to see. So make sure you're verifying that they can actually see it, that what they're reading is spelled correctly. If you make a specific setting requiring the guest to enter notes or checkbox, otherwise they'll receive an error message. So make sure that you understand what you're using it for. And that's it for the customizable fields. Next, we're moving on to Expedia promotions. So we have added the ability to manage your Expedia promotions in Direct Connect in the back office. So you can set them up in ResNexus, view the ones you already have. It makes it more simple, kind of keeps them all in one place for you. To do this, you would navigate to Settings and then to Direct Connect. And then once you're in Direct Connect, you would click on the Expedia channel that you have configured as well. And once you're on the Expedia channel, you'll see that there's a promotions section here on the right-hand side. And once you click on that, it's going to display any promotions by type that you already have, and it will allow you to create new ones. For those of you that are very familiar with Expedia promotions, this should be very intuitive for you, and you should recognize what you're seeing right away. To create a new one, you would click the Create button here, and once you're in the Edit Promotion field, you'll obviously give it a name, set it as active, set when you want it to be, the effective start and end dates, the stay, if you want it to be particular stay dates, how much advance notice they have to give, and the minimum and maximum stay lengths. You can then select the discount type or the day of week discount. It's basically a couple of different functions. So the single discount is based on a percentage, and for Plus members, you can add an additional percentage off, or you can do a day of the week discount. This allows you to set up a discount for different days of the week and what percentage off you want to give for that specific day. So if you were trying to encourage more people to book during the week, obviously very useful tool for promotion. Then you can select the rate plans that will receive the discount, and those are shown at the top here. So the rate plans you have configured on Expedia. You can also set up blackout dates if you don't want it to apply for a specific set date range. And then you can also opt to set flags to apply contracted promotions or member only or mobile users. And then once you've created it, it will show up here in your promotions list. And you'll be able to see the effective date, the name, promotion, discount, and whether it's active or not. So now we're going to talk about Airbnb messaging. So we have incorporated Airbnb messaging feature into our message inbox through Direct Connect. And there's a couple things you need to do. So if you already have Airbnb and you would like to make sure that this feature is enabled within ResNexus, I'll show you how that process will work. So if you, again, we're in settings, navigate to settings, then to Direct Connect, and you click on your Airbnb channel in Direct Connect. Typically, you would see a green button here that says that you're connected to Airbnb. If you don't and you see this, and it's telling you your account is connected but is not connected to support messaging, you will want to click on this button over here to make sure that you are giving us permission, giving ResNexus permission to use the messaging functionality. And once it will open up a pop-up window, it will make you log in again. And once you've done that, it'll bring you back and you'll see that it says connection verified, and you'll be able to message using Airbnb. Where these messages actually pop up is in the message inbox. So if you were just on any page, all of these icons show up at the top of the back office, and you could just navigate to message inbox. And the messaging inbox, if you do not have Direct Connect or you do not have ResNexus text messaging and you click on this, it will display that you have not set it up yet. So if you do click on this, then you probably don't have Direct Connect enabled or you don't have text messaging. But if you do have either one of those, you should see something similar to this. And of course, if you are using both, it will display whether it's a message from Airbnb or if it's a regular text message if you're using both of those features. And then if you wanted to reply to one of those features, you can start typing down here at the bottom and click send. It works just like our text messaging feature does. Once you connected Airbnb messaging, you'll be able to receive and respond messages to the guests that you send once the connection is established. It will not pull over previous messages you have already replied to using the Airbnb messaging tool. So next we're going to talk about Google Hotels a little bit, and I know that we did an entire webinar on this, but I just wanted to mention it again because it's such a useful tool. Really, if you're not using it, you should give us a call and find out why you should use it. It's free. You don't have to pay Google anything for it. All you have to do is have a Google business account. It does list your business amongst other businesses like OTAs on Google. So if somebody Googles you, it will show and share availability on Google. And really, it's a great tool to use if you're attempting the billboard effect, which was kind of what our webinar was about previously when we came out with this. But it is free, and we'll go over how to set it up and what they actually offer. And there is it's just a connection through Direct Connect in the back office. So you'll go to ResNexus settings and choose Direct Connect, just like we've talked about so far. And then once you're in Direct Connect, you'll click Add Channel. And you'll see that it's down in the middle here amongst all of our other channels, Google Hotels, and you just click Add Channel. And after that, it will ask you where you want to, it'll basically set you on a status to connect your account. So you'll start with channel opened. And the next thing you're going to want to do is link your account. And that's in the bottom left. Now, again, you don't have to have a Google Ads account necessarily. You just have to have a Google My Business account. If you have questions about this, feel free to give us a call. We'll walk you through how to get this set up. Again, this is just to kind of put it out there, the Google Hotels function, even for Google, is still in beta with Google, and they do change things quite often. So sometimes we do have to do things behind the scenes to get them connected, but for the most part, it works pretty well. Once you've linked everything, it's going to walk you through the process. So first one is that you've opened the channel. It will ask you to configure the channel, and you can rename it at that time if you want. Once your property has been submitted to Google, ResNexus will submit your information over to Google Hotels, and it may take a few business days for that to process. Most of our properties already, just to kind of give you an idea, we already know whether or not you have a Google account or not. So in some cases, it doesn't really even take that long. And then once the connection is finished, it will be marked as live. And this is where the free version of it, you'll know that you're active with the free version once all 4 of these initial steps have been set up and they're marked as green. You are using the free version of Google Hotels. The remaining part of this is what we call Google Hotel Ads. And if you have questions about, why you would want to set this up, there's a couple of different ways you can get more information on this. Obviously, you can contact us, or we do have a webinar we did last year. James actually put on a really great webinar explaining how to set this up and why you would want it. And that pretty much concludes some of the things we're going to cover. I didn't get to some of the things. Obviously, we're running out of time here. So some of the things we added, just quick notes, we have done, webinars on these worry-free bookings, the satisfaction survey. So we have added the ability to, once a subscriber emails to support@resnexus.com and we complete that ticket, it will send you an email asking how we did. Along with that, we also created the escalations team to kind of help escalate some of those situations that need maybe a more experienced individual here at ResNexus. And availability exchange. So we have a new channel in Direct Connect. You may have seen it previously. I think we've actually hidden it now, but it's called Availability Exchange. And what that channel actually does is allows a lot of these smaller OTAs to connect to us instead of us connecting to them. So VRBO was pretty much one of the last ones that we have connected to using our dev team. And so what we've done is we put Availability Exchange out there to allow some of these smaller OTAs to connect to us. And what that does is it puts the development on them and it really has them develop that connection to us. And so you'll probably see a lot of individual channels pop up over time. If you noticed when I was talking about Google Hotels there, at the beginning, let's see if I can go back, you can see that there's the dirt here, was actually one of the ones that came through the Availability Exchange channel. So they actually get added as their own channel eventually, but they are through Availability Exchange. And then ResNexus Payments, finally, we have our own credit card processing system now. It's called ResNexus Payments, and we're working to be our own credit card processor. We have an entire section of our web page dedicated to ResNexus Payments. So if you need any more information, feel free to go to resnexus.com and look at that page. If you have any questions, we have a full-time staff here that is handling ResNexus Payments. If you were looking for a new processor or want to see if you can get a better rate, there's actually a cool tool on our website that will have you go through and kind of try to figure that out before you call us, but we're always happy to talk to you about that. I'd like to thank you for attending the webinar today. Again, my name's Brad, and I really appreciate everyone joining and learning a little bit more about ResNexus. If you don't know how to contact your red carpet professional, you can click on the support page in your back office. So in the settings page on the right-hand side, you'll see I have it highlighted here under my account. There's a support section. And when you click on that, it's actually going to show you who your red carpet professional is and how you can contact them. Very useful tool if you need to get in touch with your red carpet professional. And then it also shows our general support line there as well and our after hours emergency number. All right. Well, it doesn't look like we have any questions, at least not that I can see. If we did miss something for you, please feel free to, again, reach out to us and we'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. And we appreciate you attending the webinar today.